I mentioned to you earlier that after showing you how to do the gathered stitch using a zigzag, that I would show you an easier way to do it, but you gotta buy a foot for your machine. Well, we have the foot right here, and it's called the low shank ruffling foot. Now I'm going to show you how to use this foot. It's very easy, but can be tricky, and you got to be careful that you don't bend your mechanisms inside. So I'm going to give you a close-up on how we use this low shank gathering foot. This eliminates having to do the zigzag, having to do the pull threads, having to do any pulling. You don't do anything. You just feed it right through this foot. Let me show you what it looks like. I'm going to take it out of the box here because I like to keep mine in the box because I don't want anything to happen to it. But as you can see, wow, doesn't it look intimidating? How in the world are we going to use that? Well, guess what? I'm going to show you how. And it's very easy. So let's get started. Here is a close-up look at the ruffling foot. As you can see, it has a lot of things going on with it, so please don't be intimidated by it. But you have this little opening here, and this little opening is used to sit on top of the bar that goes on your presser foot, and it raises the needle up and down. This portion raises the needle. This part sits on your presser foot, so it actually goes on your sewing machine like this. And when it goes on the sewing machine like that, then you got all of these little threaders where you can thread your fabric up in there to get the gathers. But I'm going to show you how to install it, and I'm going to show you how to use it. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to install the ruffling foot. So first you have to take off the presser foot. So we're going to unscrew the presser foot screw knob. I'm going to take it off, set it off on the side. Now we're going to install the ruffler. You see you got these little grooves or these little clamps right here. Unscrew that. These are gonna clamp here. This little knob here, which raises up and down the needle, and it does the ruffling. As you can see, watch when I do that. It does the ruffling. So it goes right here on the bar. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go behind the needle. You're going to put that on your presser foot, and you're gonna make sure that that bar is on the knob that unscrews the needle, and then we're going to tighten it up. Let me see if I can give you a closer look at everything connected so you can see exactly where you're going to connect this. See, as you see, I have taken the bar, and the bar, or that little opening, is wrapped around the bar that raises the presser foot. And as you can see, that little U-shaped opening, it's sitting on the little knob here that raises the needle up and down, because that's going to determine how your gathers are. Let me show you the different settings for the gathers. But anyway, you want your fabric sitting up under the ruffle. The only thing that's going to be showing on top of your fabric is this little guide. So your fabric, let's do that again so you can see what I did. You got this middle guide right here. That's the only thing that's going to be showing. So I'm going to take my fabric, I'm going to go under that guide, and then over the next guide and put my fabric underneath, just like that, because you want it to be a guide to gather. I mean, you can use it without it, but it's more challenging to control it. So we're going to do it like that. Okay, now we're going to start the ruffling action of the ruffler. So I'm going to go ahead and put my needle down. As you see, the ruffler pulled back. When I put my needle down, it pulled back. What you want to always make sure is that this is very tight, because as you ruffle, this ruffler is going to move up and down so fast that it will unscrew this. So you want to make sure it stays nice and tight. You might even want to take a screwdriver, which I'm going to do here, and tighten it up to make sure it's good and tight so it doesn't come undone. So now you just use a regular stitch. You want to put your presser foot down, put your needle down in the fabric, and make sure the presser foot is down. And I've got mine set on a 6 because we want gathers versus pleats. So I've got it on number 6, and you want to go really slow to start with. As you notice, when I put the needle down, this little mechanism, or it's got like little teeth on it, it came back. So what it's going to do is every so many inches or portions of an inch, it's going to gather the fabric. So watch what happens when I press the foot pedal. I'm done, so I'm going to pull it out. I'm going to clip the threads. So now that we've clipped the thread, here's the result of using the number 6. And as you can see, I'm going to get my ruler here, my little seam gauge. And it looks like every half an inch or so, it did a little tuck or a little pleat, which will end up being like a little gather. So it just gathered it kind of uniformly, and you didn't have to do anything. And they're in there. They're pretty. See, they're pretty tight. They're not going anywhere. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you what happens when you use the number 1 stitch, and I'm going to show you what happens when you use number 12. Now I've got the ruffler set on the number 1 setting. Last time we had it on number 6, so let's thread it up as normal, up and under and over. And let's see what happens when we do the number 1. So here we go. Always when you sew, you want to press the foot pedal very slowly. So here we go with a number 1. And here are the results on your number 1. Number 1 gives you a more of a gather stitch. Now we have the ruffler set on the number 6 setting. So we're going to thread it up, under, and then over. Now let's watch what happens when we do the number 6 setting. As I mentioned earlier, always start pressing the foot pedal slowly. And as you can see, this time the gathers are a little further apart. They're not as close together as before, so they're more like pleats now.